Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here, bringing you my initial first reaction thoughts for the most recent episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, Cupid's Errant Arrow. As usual, the first part of this will be spoiler-free. I'll give you a warning before I get into spoilers about the episode. So, to begin with, I have to say, and, this is something that comes up every so often when people are reviewing these episodes, but I think this is my favorite episode of the series so far. Everything just really seems to be clicking in this episode. The humor is very funny. I'm really liking these characters, having spent some time getting to know them, and especially at this point now we're halfway through the season, believe it or not, which is, it's kind of hard to believe that we're half done the first season of Lower Decks, which, I just have to kind of repeat to myself to realize how quickly it's been going, but how much I've really come to enjoy this show. The references in this one, I think, are really funny, and, Star Trek fans will really get a kick out of all the references and neat little Easter eggs here. I got to tell you, my Easter egg video for this episode is going to be probably a long one. There's a lot of really fast references in this. It was nice again to see kind of the wider Starfleet a little bit, and to get a little bit of context for at least one of our characters and their background. So, I'm not going to get too much more into that until I sound the spoiler horn. So, don't worry about that. But yeah, I thought this was an excellent episode. In kind of a bit of an inversion of the way it's been so far, I actually enjoyed the primary story a lot more than the subplot, the B-plot. The B-plot was funny, but, in previous episodes, I feel like the B-plot has been where I really connected with the episode and really enjoyed it. But this time around, I found that a little lacking, at least in compared to the A-plot. There's also some nice, subtle social commentary in some parts of this, which I'll talk about on the other side of the spoiler warning as well. Just all around funny episode. I think a great guest star this week as well. So, a lot of things contributing to making this an excellent episode. So yeah, Cupid's Errant Arrow is kind of at the top for me as far as episodes of Lower Decks go so far. All right, so now I am going to be getting into the spoilers. So if you watch after this point, make sure you've seen the episode or you don't mind being spoiled about it. So in this episode, the Cerritos is aiding the USS Vancouver, some nice Canadian content there, in its implosion of a moon that is threatening to plummet into the surface of a planet. I say it's Canadian content with the Vancouver, but there is a Vancouver, Washington as well. So yeah, maybe it's that. But anyway, it's a Parliament class ship. Kind of cool to be able to see another bigger, better ship than the Cerritos. And, that kind of gets rubbed in the captain's face a little bit, which was kind of fun. The captain of the Vancouver is a little bit high and mighty, and rubs in Captain Freeman's face that, maybe one day you'll be able to command a ship as great as the Vancouver. Fun stuff there for sure. One thing this mission will allow for is that Boimler will get to see his girlfriend of about a month. And Mariner is kind of incredulous and, says, I don't really believe that you have a girlfriend. And when she finally meets her, she thinks, oh, she must be some sort of changeling or android or parasite or something like that. This couldn't just possibly be somebody who's into Boimler. Like that doesn't seem right. She's a lieutenant, for crying out loud. But everything kind of seems on the up and up. She does seem attracted to Boimler despite all odds, as we were shown in this episode. And eventually we learn that it is in fact Boimler that has a parasite that makes him irresistible to the opposite sex, which, we're definitely poking fun at Boimler. I feel like maybe if this were right off the bat in the first episode, it would be mean-spirited. At this point, I kind of like Boimler. I think the way he acts and the way he is kind of part of his charm. I don't know. I hope they don't do too much with the the lovable idiot character, because he's not an idiot, and but he's a little bit socially awkward, a little nerdy and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't want them to wallow in this too much, but I think it works in this episode. I think his kind of cringe factor when it comes to his jealousy regarding Barb, his girlfriend, for example, is it's fine. It pushes the line a little bit, but it never quite pushes it over. I did like how Mariner's concern for him seems to have come from this really genuine place of worry for him. She's putting him down, but she's not being mean. She's genuinely concerned about this person who may be taking advantage of him. And I think that's where my enjoyment of this series really stems from, and really I find a place where I really like this series is that everybody is so, I don't want to say kind, because that's maybe not the right word, but everybody's so encouraging of everyone else. And there's this atmosphere of, we're all in Starfleet, we're all in this together, that kind of thing, and real camaraderie, which I really like. The subplot with Tendi and Rutherford, I wasn't as big a fan of. They're kind of gaga over this Parliament class USS Vancouver, and they're a little down on the Cerritos because she's falling apart. She's an older ship and that kind of thing. And they're kind of tripping over themselves to use this new piece of equipment and bring it to the Cerritos. But what it turns out that the engineer who is allowing them to use this equipment has actually made it so that he's going to transfer them to the Vancouver, and he's going to transfer to the Cerritos because he is tired of the high-profile, high-stakes missions that the important starships are on, and he wants, just a quiet job on a low-stakes starship. So it was amusing. I like the kind of lesson that the grass isn't always greener on the other side kind of thing. And they come to appreciate what they have on the Cerritos after, of course, stealing a bunch of these T-88s, I think, this equipment that is so advanced and has a purple stripe on it. If you'll remember, the equipment that has the purple stripe on it, that's the good stuff, right? The fancy new tricorders, and then these T-88s. I think that's right. I think that's what they're called. But this story didn't grab me as much as the Mariner Boimler story, but it was still a lot of fun. I do enjoy Rutherford and Tendi when they get together. There's definitely some competition between them in this episode, but there's still that warmth there that those two characters enjoy that I really appreciate seeing. I have to say I also loved the flashbacks to Mariner's earlier part of her career. We see her aboard the USS Quito, and which is really cool because the Quito is an Olympic class starship, which you've seen before. That was the same as the USS Pasteur in All Good Things in the future portion of that episode. But the ship is also docked at Deep Space Nine, which was really neat to be able to see that realized on screen. And also they're wearing the classic First Contact style uniforms. I say classic, I still think of those as like new uniforms, but man, First Contact came out in 1996. That flashback was really neat to see. It was fun to see Mariner as more of a bright-eyed, kind of wet behind the ears officer rather than her kind of seasoned, jaded character that she is now. And I feel like we're going to get more of that. We're going to see more of what led Mariner to get to where she is now. And the other thing, it's a very minor thing, but I love just the one line where they're talking to these aliens and they all have complaints about this mission to implode this moon. Basically, to save all their lives, to save billions of lives, they have to implode this moon. But they have, complaints about it. There's like the religious people that are like, well, we pray to that moon. You can't get rid of it. The farmers who are like, well, we rely on this moon for the tides to water our crops. We can't get rid of our livelihood that way. And then this one guy is like, we don't believe that moons can plummet. It's all a government conspiracy. And speaking as someone who's spent some time on Facebook groups lately, local groups and the like, talking about COVID-19 and that kind of thing, I kind of laughed/cried at that because, oh my God, people with your conspiracy theories and the not trusting science and anyway. It was the tiniest reference, but man, oh man, did that ring true for me. So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, very good episode. I think it's top notch, hit a lot of points that I really enjoyed, and I think this is definitely kind of a high watermark for Lower Decks for me, both in the story, how it progresses, and the character moments, how the characters interact with each other and all of that. So definitely a great episode, and one that I highly recommend. Curious to see what the back half of the season is going to look like now. Like I said, we're halfway through the season. We've got 5 more episodes to go. We don't know what the titles of the episodes are yet as of this recording, so looking forward to hearing that and kind of trying to suss out what else we've got in the rest of the season. But in the meantime, I'd like to hear from you. What did you think of the episode Cupid's Errant Arrow? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks, of course, to the Patreon supporters for helping bring this video to you. I really do appreciate all of the financial help that you guys bring to this channel. Thank you so very much. Thank you to everyone else for just watching. I really do appreciate that. But if you do think this video is worth it and know of somebody who might enjoy it, give it a share. Share it around with a friend or somebody who appreciates Star Trek or is enjoying Lower Decks. Give it a like and a subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to Kertrats Productions for more videos. Thank you all so much for all that you do. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. But until then, as always, live long and prosper.